Well, think about just in annual state filing fees,
Right, right.
right? So you quantify that over how many properties, how many LLCs, depending on if you're taxed as a partnership, how many partnership tax returns, K1, so the CPA costs, the legal costs, the annual fee cost, all of that. So yeah, they really do reduce in the future.
I'd love to know what a series LLC is. You're talking about it. I'm not familiar with it, so hit me.
So Joe, what state are you in?
California.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't have them there.
Ah,
Probably
shoot.
never will. But I have a lot of California clients that are investing across the nation. So they're not investing
Sure.
in California. So I'm able to form an entity, a series LLC, some states where they're investing if they have them. Or if not, I always start with Nevada and then we title those properties if they're investing in the Midwest or whatever. And so it's still usable for those of you in California unless all of your real estate is in California,
Sure.
right?
Right.
So a series LLC is so old way of asset protection, Joe, was you have one property or two properties, you put them under one LLC. Then you get property three, maybe four, we form another LLC, and on we go. I've had clients that have 25 LLCs, right? It gets expensive annually, a lot of tax, a lot of confusion, a lot of everything. So, as Brett mentioned, it was probably about 15 years ago. Of course, Delaware is always first. They're the first adopter. Nevada is always number two, and then comes Wyoming, right?
Hmm.
So, Nevada is clear. We want to be right there at top of the list for asset protection and use of new tools in the toolbox so that we can support education in our state, right? Filing fees. So the series is one limited liability company, one federal tax ID number, one annual state filing. And then through the statutes and the documentation that I create, I build out each series. That's why I call them cells. So property one would be in cell one, property two in cell two, on and on we go. There's no limit as to how many properties I can put under this series. In the statute, it says if there is liability or an issue with property one under cell one, that liability doesn't transfer over to number two and number
Mm-hmm.
three and so
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
right? It's fabulous. But again, it requires the right documentation with all the right language and that the property is titled correctly under that cell if you're going to take advantage of it. And so once these showed up, I sat down right at the beginning with a lawyer and a top lawyer and a top tax guy here in Nevada. And we drafted all of the documents and really understood the tax side so that everything that we do, we completely supported the client in their ability to use one entity to hold 10 property. I have one client, she's up to, I think, her 35th.
Do you ever quantify, Sherry, the amount of money you're saving per LLC just on average?
Well, think about just in annual state filing fees,
Right, right.
right? So you quantify that over how many properties, how many LLCs, depending on if you're taxed as a partnership, how many partnership tax returns, K1, so the CPA costs, the legal costs, the annual fee cost, all of that. So yeah, they really do reduce in the future. Now I charge good up front because I have a lot of work to do to put it
Sure.
all together. But after that, so imagine if California had them, you would have $800 for every entity, right?
Right, right.
So that goes away.
Yep.
But
So you're
anyway,
probably
yeah,
talking
they're,
$2,000 per LLC per year, at
oh, at
least.
least
Yeah.
between annual fees,
CPA.
CPA, documentation, prep, all that stuff that continues on.
Not to
Absolutely.
mention, I think Brett would agree, and you'll probably agree that the people who are investing in real estate that have multiple places and multiple properties, multiple places, they're not the detail type of people. And so they want as to reduce that complexity in their life as much as possible and to make life simple.
Exactly. And
That's
this
great.
does it.
Yeah.